A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome Senior Advisor of Adcock, Shri Deshpandeji, and the guest speaker of the today's webinar, Shri Om Prakash Sadhwaniji, and all the office bearers of All India Drugs Control Officers Confederation, and the regulators from the CDSCO and the State Drug Control Offices, and the participants from industry and academia. Pleasure to welcome you all for the 28th webinar series on the All India Drugs Control Officers Confederation Training Academy. Today, we have come up with an exciting session on the intricacies of the investigation under Drugs and Cosmetics Act, with a detailed elaboration on the case studies by the renowned expert officer of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, Shri Om Prakash Sadhwaniji, the former Joint Commissioner and Drugs Controller of Food and Drug Administration, Maharashtra. Ladies and gentlemen, as a regulators, it's our vision and mission to protect the health of the public and to make sure the availability of the safe, efficacious, and affordable medicines to the public health. And it is the inherent responsibility of all of us to prevent the entry of the counterfeit or adulterated or spurious drugs into the market. And for that to make, we as a regulators have to have an acquired skills to do the effective investigation to make sure all the evidences of any of the clandestine activities are being produced before the honorable court, and to make sure the prosecution happened in a better way, and to make sure those accused who has committed the offenses gets punished in a proper manner. So in this today's session, we have with us Shri Om Prakash Ji, who has expert in detection and investigation of cases of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, and who has here to enlighten all of us in terms of the skills needs to be required or acquired in the process of an investigation of a case. Before I call upon the guest speaker, let me invite the guest of honor, Shri S.W. Deshpandeji, the senior advisor for All India Drug Control Officers Confederation, and we all call him as the Bhishma Pitamaha, our guru for all of the regulators in the country. We are so honored and pleased to have you with us, sir. Deshpande, sir, please.
Thank you, Lakshmi. It's pleasure to be here when the presentation on investigation skills, intricacies of investigations with case studies are being presented by the expert in the field, Mr. Sadhwani. Investigation, all you know, is a very complex issue. It's not a straightforward issue. Very complex and needs a lot of skills, especially aptitude, patience, attention for very small things, minute things, so on and so forth. It's many times you have only one clue, and then you have to follow up that lead and go to the root of the cause. You cannot stop by just drawing the sample and say that this is spurious, not of standard quality, and now I will take action against the person from whom sample is drawn. Or at times, the original manufacturer is questions 100 times rather than following the real culprit. Mr. Sadhwani today will be presenting case studies to us, and what is required, how it was done in their cases. He is the right person to talk on these issues because he has worked as Drugs Inspector Intelligence Branch extensively, then Assistant Commissioner Intelligence Branch, and for some time as Joint Commissioner Vigilance. As a State Drug Controller also, he knows what's happening in the state and also at the national level. So with these words, I'm sure that today's presentation will be a great value addition to the officers, and I wish everybody enjoys it and learns the tricks of the trade from Mr. Sadhwani. With this, over to Lakshmi.
Thank you so much, sir. And now I take the pleasure of inviting Shri Om Prakash Sadhwaniji, who has almost 3 decades of experience in the enforcement of the drugs laws. And as mentioned by Deshpande sir, Sadhwaniji has an expertise in the detection and investigation of cases, and he has worked extensively on the investigations of different cases. And he also served as an assistant commissioner and Joint Commissioner of the Law and Investigation Branch, and several other positions. And during his tenure, Sadhwaniji has extensively contributed for the development of the systems in the Maharashtra FDA, and he has a wide experience in policy making and also in advising the Drug Technical Advisory Board. And in fact, he was a former member of the DTAB. And he is also a renowned faculty member for the training on the investigational skills, and he has rendered a vast number of the training programs at several national and international platforms. And for the extensive contribution made by Sadhwaniji, he was conferred with the All Best Drugs Control Officers of India by Adcock in 2010, and he also conferred with the Gaurav Purushkar by the Government of Maharashtra, and many more such other awards were conferred to Sri Sadhwaniji. And currently, Sri Sadhwaniji is the COO of the Tiblo Consultancy Services, and he is also the Director of Explore Healthcare Solutions, Thane. So we are so honored to have you with us on this August gathering, and we look forward to hear insightful experiences from your side. Over to you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you, Deshpande sir. It's my pleasure to be with all of you, my dear colleagues, and it is great pleasure to be and on Adcock platform, being introduced by Deshpande sir. Whatever today I will be talking, practically it has been done under his mentorship, and all the cases we investigated as Drug Inspector's Intelligence Branch when he was Assistant Commissioner Intelligence Branch. And then I really sometimes say that all the focus is on inspectors. Even films are prepared on Singham, not on commissioners or drug controllers or police commissioners. So inspector is the basic Jan or basic life of the investigation. And all the inspectors, I will be requesting that you are the person, whatever you will be doing, that will be the feather in the cap of the your regulatory organization. So you are the person who performs, and then feathers are and caps are given to the uh, associations and then to your offices, right? So all officers, particularly inspectors, I feel that should be motivated from this point. And today, whatever I'll be talking, that is all India experience with of coordination with various colleagues at various levels in various cases, and what qualities are needed and how to develop those qualities and how to use them in a particular case. So I'll be giving some examples of the case studies there, and then we go ahead into this. I'll start sharing my screen. Let us go into my presentation. So we start with intricacies of investigation under Drug and Cosmetic Act. Just a minute. Lakshmi, is it moving now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we go into the presentation today. Again, stopped.
Sir, shall I run the slides?
Just a minute.
Sure. Hope you could able to see the slides, sir.
Can be seen now? Yeah.
Right. So today we'll be discussing what is value chain in pharma, and from where to start and how it reaches the patient. But they will also discuss regulatory framework in India because it is on the subject is on the concurrent list, and then we will see that what are the functions done by state and what are the functions done by central, and what is being jointly done by all of us. Then what is menace of counterfeit drugs, countering counterfeit strategy, how we can counter these counterfeits. Then we talk of investigation, vital ingredients, and assets of investigators. These two will be major points. And then we talk of essential skills and review and conclude. Go to next slide. Okay. Lakshmi, go to next slide, please. Yes. So this is value chain. Packaging material source, very vital source where every manufacturer should be concentrating, that you should be selecting people with integrity, and they should be performing as per your SOPs. They should not give any packaged material, even rejected packaging material, to anybody else. So this is very important. Packaged material source, raw material source, from wherever you are purchasing raw material, maybe import, maybe manufacturer. That is also very important source. And then integrity of raw material, quality of the raw material is the quality, basic quality, which will be going into the formulation. Right now, I have given you at all the places the transportation. A transportation is such that it is not regulated under Drug and Cosmetic Act at all. However, we have given responsibility that to the manufacturers, that they should be validating their storage conditions, transportation systems, and distribution systems. So here there is no control. Many things happen here. So whenever it is manufactured, the quality assurance, manufacturing, everything is regulated in a proper way as per law, and then it is to be done in a proper designed way. So man, method, material, machine, everything, GMP is part of this law. Right. Then export, not much regulated, but then very important that we are pharmacy of the world. So whatever you export is really important, and then it carries, it gives you the name and fame in the world as pharmacy of the world, and it gives you foreign currency also. And then these are central warehousing, CFAs, and then distributors, then pharmacies, and then patients. So drug is manufactured here from the materials acquired from APM source and raw material source, and then it really goes to the consumer, the patient, and who gets the effect. Now, anywhere, if it is not properly handled, if there is mix-up, if there is any issue related to storage, or if anybody is playing with the quality of the drug at any place, then this value chain is disturbed. Next slide, please. So when we talk of regulatory framework in India, because the health is the concurrent subject, regulatory framework in India is by central government and state government both. Legislation is prepared by central government. International trade, particularly import and export, is totally regulated by central government. Clinical trials under new drugs and clinical trial rules are regulated by central government. New drug approvals are regulated by central government. Manufacturing license, some licenses are given by central government and state government jointly under CLA scheme, and most of the licenses are given by state regulators. For biologicals, there is a joint scheme. For medical devices, category A and B with the state, and category C and D with the central government. On other drugs, there could be joint licensing and other drugs. Retail and distribution licenses, particularly from where the patient or a doctor gets medicine, is totally with the state government. So ultimate patient gets medicines, and which is coming under the purview of the state regulators. The investigations, what we'll be discussing today, is mostly with the state government, but it definitely requires and it merits pan India coordination and authority, which is not there with the state, and then where investigations are stuck up. Here we have been saying that central government should come in, and there should be some force joint CBI-like force, where state and central regulators should work jointly to see that simultaneous raids can happen in various states, or there could be a better coordination under the for these investigations. So this needs to be looked in by all state and central regulators to see that if you want to take cases to their logical end, to see that all the raids are effective, and then prosecutions are effective, and drug officers get sufficient support at each level for taking their actions, then it requires some thorough deliberations, discussions at the level, so that central and state both can work jointly in this line. Next slide, please. As far as if you talk of Drug Act in itself has given us a very strong provision of Section 18C that manufacture for sale or stock or exhibit or offer for sale or distribute any drug is prohibited except under the license. So anybody who wants to do this, he has to do under the license, and he has to follow all the conditions of the license. So if everybody is doing like this, if everybody is working in the ambit of the law with license, with following all the conditions of the license, then the entry of spurious drug is not possible. However, if we see present regulatory regime, let us go on to the next slide. It is an organized system of healthcare management. System is to keep away entry of spurious drugs, misbranded and adulterated drugs in the market. It will avoid self-medication. Pharmacist has to dispense medicines which are to be prescribed by the physicians. So there is minimum risk to the health of the patients. And it ensures traceability, because all the medicines manufactured under the license are to be recorded. Batch records are to be prepared from their total distribution record up to the patient is to be maintained. So it ensures traceability of medicines from manufacturers, distributors, retailers up to the point of use. It will it should give you effective recall wherever and whenever required. Next slide, please. However, that is not happening fully. That is not happening fully. Therefore, there are issues, and therefore there are counterfeit drugs in the market. There are some spurious drugs. So, counterfeit though is not defined in Drug Act. However, it is covered under the definitions of spurious drug, adulterated drug, misbranded drug, or NSQs. As far as spurious drug is concerned, if I can give example in a simple words, it's very simple that if a drug is manufactured by a manufacturer whose name is mentioned on the pack, and it is manufactured under a license, and then it contains the true ingredients as mentioned on the label, and it is complying with all the standards of the quality, then it is the original drug, right? It's the perfect drug. If you talk of spurious drug, I will give a simple example with paracetamol. If just for the sake of understanding, we can talk on the point of I will be taking certain names of the brands, which is just for the understanding. So if you consider that paracetamol tablets 500 milligram crocin manufactured by GSK is a original product, licensed to Glaxo, and then they are authorized to sell in India, and then they sell in India. So if a product crocin containing 500 milligram paracetamol labeled as Glaxo product, manufactured by Glaxo, given with all the records up and going up to the patient, is original product. If a product labeled as crocin 500 paracetamol 500 milligram tablet, but is not manufactured by Glaxo or not manufactured under their license, and it is manufactured by somebody else, and if name of Glaxo is mentioned on the strip, then it is a spurious product. It may or may not contain a drug, but it is a spurious product if it gives the name of the person manufacturer who is actually not the original manufacturer, who is not originally manufactured this, right? If a tablet labeled to be 500 milligram paracetamol doesn't contain paracetamol, it is a spurious. Even name of the manufacturer is mentioned on the label, and that manufacturer does not exist. Fictitious it is. Suppose they say it's manufactured by ABC company and ABC doesn't exist, then it is spurious. Right. So Spurious is if the brand, that particular brand is not owned by a particular person and then they manufacture it in somebody else's name. And if the drug is manufactured in some other drug's name, like paracetamol doesn't contain paracetamol, if it is manufactured in the name of the manufacturer who is fictitious, then it is spurious drug. Counterfeit is a broad term. It may be violation of trademark, it may be violation of distribution channels, it may be may not be containing sufficient quantity of the drug, it may be NSQ, and variety of things can come into this. So that is counterfeit. And then all these counterfeits, particularly spurious, are really um, creating certain huge losses, particularly to the patients. The patient is paying for some good brand or good drug to get the benefit of the drug, and if he doesn't get that benefit, if the drug is spurious, if he doesn't get that benefit, then he is at loss. Similarly, other stakeholders are at loss, maybe manufacturers, regulators, consumers, prescriber, government at large. Right. Next slide, please. So there are no surveys about counterfeit. However, there is one survey, great survey conducted by Government of India from 2016 to 18, where it was found that uh, for spurious drugs, and then it was found that around 47,000 samples were drawn pan India, and then from that, around 3.16% were declared NSQ, and 0.245% were declared to be spurious. Now, counterfeits will always exceed to spurious, but risk will be high, particularly in equity and pricing power. But quality, when we say only 0.245%, then it's not only 0.245% because all brands are not copied. Some very important brands are copied, some very potent drugs are copied, and spurious are prepared. So 0.245%, though we can say that it's very small, but it is not small, it is huge. So um, as a regulator, it's our prime duty to see that this 0.245% should get converted to 000. Right. Next, please. So where it happens, any vulnerable, total supply chain is vulnerable. It can happen at any place. Raw materials, if you talk of, can give one very simple example. Raw material source, I've seen a case, trimethoprim. Drums of trimethoprim of 25 kg were purchased by a manufacturer. While they manufactured it, they drew sample, they tested. And when the granules were prepared, granules were giving result of around 60%. When we investigated, we found that the drums of raw materials which started from Hyderabad, while they came to the manufacturer, on the way, the drums were opened. The seal of the fiber drum, keeping seal intact, ring was taken out, and around 40% material of the trimethoprim was removed, and DCP was kept into that. Right. And what they did it with a very smart thing that removed upper layer. In middle layer, they put up DCP, and then at upper layer again they replaced with trimethoprim. When the drum went to the manufacturer, they did not use sampling rod, but they just took sample from the drum from upper layer and they tested. It passed, and then they used in the manufacture of granules, and after granules were tested in process control, it was 60%. Right. So 60% then gave alarm to be checked. Then we checked all the drums and other things. Then we found that the material was replaced. Not only this one case, there were many cases reported, and then material theft, particularly from particular layer, from raw material suppliers to manufacturer, is really a case. So GMP of process or SOP of drawing sample of raw material from each and every drum or whatever route n+1 has to be done meticulously to see that you get, you test, and you manufacture the drugs from the perfect raw material. Packaging material source. A packaging material provider provides labels or strips to you, and what he's providing the same strip to somebody else. That can create havoc for you. Right. So any vulnerable anything happening in these supply chains can make the things very worst. Right. Goods being if you talk of manufacturing to warehouse, there can be many things, but from warehouse to distributor or from manufacturer to warehouse, we have seen cases of theft of the whole truck. Whole truck is looted. All these drugs are taken to some other place and they go to the grey market. Right. Most of the cases I have seen the cases from happening from some warehouse hubs like Bhiwandi or so. A truck started from Bhiwandi for Assam, never reached Assam. On the way it was looted. Right. So there are things happening here. From warehouse to distributors, stockist, same things happen. Some distributors add materials into spurious material into the build materials. Already, after acquiring the stock, they add on materials from acquired from other source, and they go to the pharmacist, and then ultimately it goes to the patient. So, throughout the chain, there is chance of anything mixing up, particularly in expired, recalled, and rejected goods. These transporters play a very vital role. Anything which expires here at pharmacy, it's given back to the distributor. Distributor sends it to the warehouse. Now warehouse or CFA doesn't take material from the transporter, and material is lying in the transporters go down, and demurrage charges are being increased, and if nobody comes back for receipt of the expired material from CFA, this transporter is auctioning or giving it to the garbage dealers, right? And they go and recycle. So this type of cases have been detected. Therefore, all the to and fro transportation of the drugs is very important. Physician samples, something happened, particularly in Hyderabad, we detected one case which I'll be talking into the forthcoming slides. So this is value chain where everywhere there has to be some alert. There should not be any negligence and ignorance. And all the expired, recalled, rejected materials should be handled with too much precaution and cautions. Next slide, please. So investigation, we discussed all proceedings for collection of evidence. It is systematic, minute, and thorough attempt to learn facts about something which is complex or hidden. So whenever information is received, it starts. Next slide, please. I'll not go into these 3-4 slides because all the things are known to you. Go to next slide, Lakshmi, please. Next slide. Remember, now this is really a slide really taken from Deshpande sir's first presentation on this. And today also, by grace of God, he expressed these words only. Investigation is a complex issue. Manufacture, sale, and distribution of spurious drugs is a clandestine activity. Nobody really will tell you that spurious drugs are sold here, or you come here, you'll find spurious drugs, or we deal in spurious drugs. There are no boards on the shops, as they say, homeopathic or generic medicines and allopathic medicines are sold here. Nobody will tell you that spurious drugs are sold here. So it is a clandestine activity, under table activity, grey market activity, for which there are no documents exist. Even if documents are there, they are forced and they are not proper. So manufacture, sale, and distribution of spurious drugs is clandestine activity. It is not very visible. So cases are not noticed during routine inspections. If you go for inspection, I can give you examples here that we had one Shell Pharmaceuticals. Shield Pharma. Shield Pharma was a company in Vadala, and our great mentor Godal sir received information that there is one dispensary of Mahindra and Mahindra company, tractor plant at Kandivali. They are purchasing medicines from Shield Pharma, and now they have some doubt about the quality of the drugs. Now, when we went that Mahindra, we found that the drugs were supplied by Shield Pharma, manufactured by Shield Pharma, shown to be having loan license. Shield Pharma having loan license. We checked our records. Shield Pharma had no loan license. Nowhere they got loan license. Therefore, we had a doubt that what happened, from where they got these drugs. So we went to house of that old person who was heading Shield Pharma, right, who had supplied it to Mahindra, and that man took us to his sales premises at Vadala, and an industrial area, and clearly told us that he doesn't have any manufacturing license, but he was acquiring drugs from Bombay Market, Princess Street, bringing those drugs to his place and labeling it same drug, paracetamol of ABC manufacturer was labeled as paracetamol manufactured by Shield Pharma. Cough syrup manufactured by ABC manufacturer was labeled as cough syrup manufactured by Shield Pharma. So we asked him why you do this. So if I am manufacturer, then only Mahindra and Mahindra will purchase from me. And if I am not manufacturer, Mahindra doesn't purchase from me. He was supplying drugs to Mahindra and Mahindra for 15 years. And in 15 years, our inspectors had inspected his premises. Even Shield Pharma's premises, routine inspections were there. He had full purchase record from Bombay Market. He had maintained sale record of same Bombay Market drugs, showing bills to the Mahindra and Mahindra. His copy was showing that original drugs were sold to Mahindra and Mahindra. However, Mahindra and Mahindra copy was showing that the drugs are manufactured by Shield Pharma. So second copy, third copy sale record was maintained as per purchase record. And the copy given to Mahindra and Mahindra, which was the second copy, was only showing that the product is manufactured by Shield Pharma. So all records of sale and purchase matching at the site during inspection. So if you don't have information, really your inspection cannot lead you to the case. Most of the times inspections do not lead to the cases. Normally complaints also do not result in the cases. Complaint normally they give from business rivalry or just a alert consumer or just doubt the complaints. Therefore, the most prerequisite is gathering of intelligence of such activities. If you know that this is the case, this thing is happening, if precisely you have information what is happening, then only you can crack the case in a proper way. So investigation is complex. Inspections don't give you cases normally, and even complaints may not result. Sometimes if they may, but normally intelligence collected and work done before reading, before inspection is very important. Therefore, one must look into that in that particular way. Right? Next slide, please. So, if you want to go into investigation, there are certain vital ingredients. You need dedicated officers with aptitude for the investigation. Officer has to be dedicated. He has to has zeal to go into that case and find out what happened. And for that, he will need information. What are sources of information? From where he will get information? How he gets information? Who can provide information? Who are informers? What is open market information? What is in general price information? And whatever information comes to you, how you sift that information. Somebody can just tell you there will be some one truckload of spurious medicine will be coming, and then it is coming here, and then you go and find out there that everything was good. But if you have got information that this thing is happening there, and then you keep watch, you read the place, you understand that what was happening was as per your information, and then it is not provided by some bogus person, it is not provided by only rivalry, and it is not a bogus information, then that is the case where you can make out things. Speed in investigation. Next. Speed in investigation is most of the times important. If you get information that the truck will be arriving at 10:30, and if you reach there at 11:30, nothing, you will find nothing. Right. So punctuality is also important. As soon as you get some clue, you must immediately investigate that if the truck has left and then it is going to such and such place. If you reach that place late, probably material will be lost. So speed is also important. So delay will be discouraging. Sometimes you will feel कि चले गया, निकल गया, or what I can do. So that will be a problem. Right. So sometimes speed is required, but sometimes I say patience is also required. You will be told that okay, you have to wait, material will come, or the person is dealing daily in this type of material. Then till you substantiate your information, till you sift your information, till you establish your information, sometimes you have to wait. But if you feel that no, this is the right time to attack, then speed is important. Now, once you attack, then interrogation is also important. Otherwise, no, none of the accused will tell you anything more than whatever you know. So your information is important. How much you know, that only that will be given to, will come into your investigation. But if you have got good interrogation skills, then probably you will be cracking the case in a proper way. So interrogation is an art one can really develop. But sometimes, as our earlier commissioners were saying, Lakhina sir was saying, so Sadhvani, you should be polite but firm. But then, sir, we were saying to him, sir, that criminals, particularly in spurious drugs, are hardcore criminals. They cannot answer our polite questions. They'll just not inform me as I'm giving you a 18-day notice. You tell me from where you got. They reveal nothing. So we have to be harsh, hard, but have patience. Do not create show, but then uh, you should be taking multiple actions to see that ultimately you you get some information or you crack the case. So here, particularly coordination skills are required. So team is important. Team is important. In team, whatever you are doing is important. If four persons have gone for a raid, somebody who's in expert in interrogation, he should interrogate. Somebody is expert in recording, he should record panchanama and take a statement. Somebody who is expert in negotiating to understand that who is not available, who can surrender, how you can make them available. All these things are very important. Therefore, you while working in team, you should coordinate with each other and see that whatever is required in the investigation is completed. Move on to next slide, Lakshmi, please. Teamwork. Recently, I had been to Jharkhand. Uh, Ritu Sai's team and Tiwari ji's and other all giant drug controllers. I was giving the same presentation there. But I understood there that they have got a great teamwork, and particularly in the cases related to codeine syrups, they have done miracles. They have, they have unearthed around 10 to 20 cases in last 1 or 2 years. They have got convictions under NDPS Act for 10 years and lakhs of rupees fine. So teamwork, particularly in a particular direction, and then whatever things we'll be discussing today about intricacies of investigation, all the problems what I will be discussing today, they have faced and then they have tackled. Even lady officers were really smart and harsh enough to check and find out these cases. So presence of mind is very important, and then you have to control your temper, see and find out all the clues, understand the case there. That all the clues. Sometimes, if I want to give examples here, that once we went to Dombivli to find out that there was some calcium lactate injection supplied from there, which was converted to spurious calcium sandals injection in Rajasthan. We had some clue. We went to Dombivli, but we could not find anything there. So it was a regular warehouse, regular dealer having all purchase record, all sale records, everything. But we had a quite good clue that he has supplied something. When we were sitting there for 2, 3, 4 hours, ultimately in a drawer, I found certain keys. So I just told him, he open all the locks. These are the keys, open all the locks. There were around 4 or 5 keys for which there were no locks. And when we created pressure, then we found that this person has got a godown at around 5 to 7 kilometers away in a particular area, and from there he Katai area, and then he took us there, and from there we found out full godown full of injectables manufactured at some Palakkad company from Kerala, and then brought it here. From here they were supplying to other places, from where they got converted into some other preparations. So any minor clue you should not leave. You must follow all the clues. Ability, you should develop ability to follow the clues. Now we had one raid where with small premises, one stool was there and box stool was there. And I was sitting on that stool. And then some my informer, ultimately, we are not finding anything. So one of my informer passed a message to me, sir, जो स्टूल पे आप बैठे ना उसके अंदर कुछ पड़ा है. And once I opened that stool, I found number of transport receipts, number of bills of supply of medicines and cosmetics to various people in Delhi, Surat, Baroda, and other places. Then I asked, from where is this material? नहीं sir, ऐसे ही कागज है. We got one more bill, electric bill or telephone bill there, and then that led us to a premises in Bandra where we got total facility of manufacturing of the cosmetics like Anup hair oil, Godrej hair dye, and other things. So all minor clues, when you analyze patiently, can give you many cases, can give you lead in many cases. Patience, be patient, don't run here and there, be calm, try to get the information and try to analyze the clues available. So you must be remaining cool and analyzing. Next. So you should have ability to secure information. Now, who can give you information? Person who are indulging in the offences. This is a person Ansar Khan Rajab Khan. Right. This person gave us information. He was in offense. He was a contractor for boots. Was removing garbage from boots. Was bringing everything here, removing that Digin tablets from rejected strips and then other things from rejected strips. This is a time of around 95 when the boots was there in Siam, and then this man was at Asalfa village. Now this man gave us information that we raided this man. This man gave us information that he is taking out the tablets and this giving it to somebody whose name is Bhavesh Parekh and who is dealing in the compounds. What is compound? It's a crust tablet. So these type of people can be your informers. The informers can be from industry, they can be from chemists, they can be from the trade, they can be MRs, they can be doctors, they can be anybody. Somebody of loose character, somebody who is even drunkard, he can be your informer. Other investigation agencies. Now, investigation agencies give many cases. Like we investigated one case related to Azantec tablet, which is a ranitidine tablet in France. Right. The Azantec tablet, ranitidine tablet in France, and then the information was provided by airport officers that somebody carrying one bag of tablets is trying to travel to London, and then custom officers stopped them at around 5:30 p.m. Our officer Kekatpure and his team went to airport, seized that bag, and ultimately we came to know that carrying one bag of Syntec, it is Azantec spurious Syntec tablet. It is marketed as Azantec in France by Glaxo itself. Then that spurious tablets were manufactured in India and somebody was carrying there. So investigations, here speed of investigation was there. Evening we caught a person. Next day morning we were in Gujarat. Gujarat team coordinated with us and we found out manufacturer at Vapi, and then from there we seized the punch, die and punch where embossing of Azantec was there. Azantec was not marketed in India. In India, Zentec was marketed. So Azantec, Glaxo, French label was seized with the clue from other investigating agencies. So other investigating agencies have given many clues for many other type of cases, right? Even CDSCO has given us many clues where we investigated case related to soframycin. Neomycin was being marketed as soframycin, and then so that was converted into tubes where interstate investigations happened. UP, Karnataka, even I remember Jagat Shetty sir coming to our office and we investigating jointly and simultaneously a case related to soframycin. And the number of cases were detected, particularly related to soframycin in this type of things. The CDSCO had provided this information that soframycin is never imported. It was only product was marketed by Russell at that time. Now it was same thing was being used by some other manufacturers instead of neomycin, and they were preparing this preparation. So these spurious were caught there. So other investigating agencies, joint raids by um, states, Karnataka and Maharashtra together. I remember leaving at 5:30 p.m. with Jagat Shetty sir and returning next day with full case solved, with hawala bills, and raw material was provided to Karnataka with bills from Mumbai, and only bills were raised. So not to overlook a trifle, even small things can give you great uh, great insight that something can happen. Now, here is one trifle. A printer came to me and said, "Sir, we got inquiry about labeling of printing of labels of Woodward Grapewater, which I refused because it was a TTK product being manufactured in Pune, and why somebody has come here to get the labels printed." So he interrogated, and he found that no, the person is not good. And then he came to me, "Sir, I have refused, but somebody else may print it." So very soon in market you will find Woodward Grapewater is spurious. Even similar information, when we went into the details, manufacturer of Woodward TTK got similar information that there was some fungus coming up in some of the bottles. And then from there we started investigations, and we found that Woodward Grapewater with around 6 retailers with bill given by a person with huge discount which was not due. They had not used due diligence, purchased under bill, gave cash payment, the dealer was not there at all, and then all these were prosecuted, right? So these type of cases can come up from small informations. Associations. So manufacturer associations can give you good clues. We got a very good clue from small scale soap manufacturers. They said, "Sir, you are telling us to go for the license, or there are many manufacturers supplying soaps to the hotels." This is around 96, and all the cosmetics available in the hotels in the rooms are given by the unlicensed manufacturers. During that time, our full team raided number of five-star hotels, and we found number of dealers supplying uh, cosmetics, shampoos and soaps to the hotels. And these, when we caught that, after that, all the hotels are now having branded cosmetics, or they are purchased from the licensed manufacturer. So this type of small clues by the um, trade can come up and give you sufficient clues to detect the cases. Next slide, please. When we talk of speed of investigation, we had a spurious Corex. Information came that somebody is supplying Corex, which is spurious, and we got the information that he took uh, cans of around 5 liters cough syrup from Princess Street and came to Parel, and then he was filling it into the bottles of Corex which were empty bottles which were available from the garbage dealers, and then he put up cap on that. He had a sealing machine, and then he put up colored Xerox label on that, and then he was selling it. Now we received information at around 3 p.m. We rushed to the spot. Around 5 p.m., interrogated the person. 7 p.m., stock with the invoices was seized and accused was arrested. Here, the manufacturer, while arrest, police raised the issue. How you are saying that is spurious? Then we got Pfizer in action immediately, and they gave us a statement that why this is not their product, and what is the difference between original and this one, and on that basis uh, we created this. I will just tell you, please be in touch whenever you have information provided by a manufacturer or provided by your informer, the product is spurious. Please, from the investigation of the case or from information source itself, be sure the product is spurious, start your documentation in that line. Don't write manufactured by ABC. Write purported to be manufactured by, that you have doubt that it is not original product. Therefore, you are seizing. So always write in your documents purported to be manufactured by company. If the product is not labeled, purported to be ABC tablet, purported to be manufactured by, because you have to ascertain that you are investigating a case because there is something wrong and it is not something original, and you are investigating your reason to believe that you are doing investigating something very important and it is spurious. Therefore, when you have purpose reason to believe, you get all rights as stipulated in section 22 or as per violation of section 18, right? So um, always try to see that if you have information provided by a manufacturer, you keep his statement in hand that this is spurious, difference between original and spurious, and then you prepare your total all investigative documents on the basis of these two, and then prepare comparative statement, and then they get manufacturer's statement also before prosecuting, right? So your all investigation papers from starting of the investigation should show that you had information of spurious and you are investigating spurious. You have drawn sample of a spurious drug and you are testing a spurious drug. You are dealing with that sample as you deal with a spurious sample. You just cannot send that fourth sample part immediately to the manufacturer. See that the names in 18A are properly disclosed, and if they are not, wait for that. So particularly here, why I am saying this has been creating issues, particularly in the lines where manufacturers are providing information, as Deshpande sir said, that some manufacturers are being questioned 10 times that is it manufactured by them. While they have provided you information, they are following all GMP, their everything recorded is there that this is not manufactured by them. Then questioning them is okay, but then evidence provided them by them is to be used against the accused, which we should be doing very effectively. So complete the investigation as fast as possible. Proceed. And when we went to Satara, we found the firm from Satara was issuing their bills. These total things were completed within 24 hours. So investigation can be very fast and can be completed very fast at in some time in some cases, but in some cases it requires patience. Next, please. So asset of investigator is you have to cultivate the informant. See that people give you information. You be in their touch. You treat informant fairly, and they don't go into their character. Even protect your informers from your colleagues, their business rivals. You must have seen that sometimes informants are murdered. There are some RTI activists are taken manhandled by some people. So whosoever is giving you information, his name should be kept lifetime confidential. I tell you, I heard information given to me by my mentor Gudal sir that in a particular welcome guest house under bed number in room number 2 and below the bed number 3 there is some bag of somebody is coming there in the name of Gupta and stocking drugs there, and he comes and deals with Suresh Punwani, and then they deal, and now this man is coming there, this man is providing drugs to him. Total information up to the bed, hotel, name, number, bed, everything was provided by somebody. But to date, I had detected a huge case from that, but I don't know who was Mural sir's informant. And he never disclosed, we never asked. Right. So you must protect your informers. Next slide, please. You have to investigate all tips, evaluate reliability of information we already discussed. Do not be misled by fabricated information. Now people can provide you fabricated information, your rates will be, your time will be wasted, your efforts will be wasted. Always when you get information, do not jump onto the conclusions. Verify the information. That doesn't mean sit on the information. Verify the information, do it very fast, and always find out antecedents of the people against whom these things are being done. If you raid at wrong place, if you raid a reputed person, if you raid a reputed person who has not done anything, that will get you very much great disrepute and allegations. So to protect yourself, don't be misled by fabricated information. Next, please. Speed is an investigation. So this is Godrej Air Die case, where I always try to mention that this case started from very small tip, which was provided by my colleague, Mr. Jatadhar, to me that, sir, there is Anup hair oil. If there is some hologram on that Anup hair oil seal, the bottle is sealed, and there is one hologram written Anup on that seal, and that Anup seal, if is 3D, if you move it, if it is 3D, then it is original product. If it is 2D, it is spurious product. Only this information gave me line, and whenever we used to go, we used to check what Anup hair oil. It was a 50 ml bottle being sold 100 rupees at that time in 93-4, and then we used to check it. Now we got some clue that somebody had got 8 to 9 bottles at Masjid Bandar, which was a very general market. But from 9 bottles, we really will not be able to take any action. We took that man in confidence and we asked from where you got. He told us that he got it from Kolaba. And when we went to Kolaba, that Kodiyamma stores, Kodiyamma, that is Kirana store. Then we took Kodiyamma into confidence that from where he got. He said that somebody is coming on a cycle and giving it to. Now we started placing orders to that cycle man from Kodiyamma. And we trapped him one day with 2 dozens of this one, Anup hair oil. When we investigated, we found that he is staying at Andheri, and then he gets it from one Mahavir Communication Center. Right. Now Mahavir Communication Center, to look into that is, it was a communication center at that time. STD PCOs were there. Now STD PCO, there was nothing was there. Now he says that I'm bringing it from here. Now just near Mahavir Communication Center, there was Mahavir Medical Store. We got 2 bottles of Anup hair oil there. Now, as the case I had told you that I was sitting on the stool, this is the same case. Transport receipts were found. Scrutiny of transport receipt revealed that Godrej hair dye. Now, we were investigating Anup hair oil. Here we found that Godrej hair dye was supplied to Calcutta, Bangalore, Surat, Delhi. Till this date, we were feeling that all the spurious cosmetics available in Mumbai were coming from Delhi. Intelligence branch was feeling that. However, this time we found that no, even supply to Delhi was from Mumbai. So transport receipts showed that it is going to Mumbai, from Mumbai to Delhi, Calcutta, Bangalore, Surat and Delhi. We rushed to Betco Transport. Mr. Kekatpure went there, and his whole stock was hold, which was sent on that day itself. Surat, we communicated this, and Mr. Amrawatkar and his team and all the other people were there. They stopped the stock at that transport itself, and we visited Surat afterwards, and we seized the stock from shopkeeper and transport both. So as soon as we got a clue, we stopped at transport. From transport, we gave intimation to Gujarat. Gujarat prohibited the stock there, and then we seized the stock there. Right. So this is the coordination. This is the speed required once you get the clue. Next, please. Never give up. Now I'm going to a very important case of FDA Maharashtra. Both the cases are very important, which has changed life for all of us, from where we are labeled as great investigators or great intelligence persons. You should never give up the clues. Look for all the clues. Arson case is a very important case which I will be discussing in some other slides also. Team went to Delhi and then they were fighting to get the clues and to arrest the people there. And then accused absconded. Telephone bill found at his place showed that he was continuously calling or giving number of calls to Kurukshetra. So telephone number was displayed on the police station which helped in identified Ashwin Maheshwari, and which ultimately led to a big raid, which I'll be discussing in the next slides. Now, Glaxo case, as I said, that we were having clues and we were maintaining watch on Welcome Hindu Hotel, and to date we don't know who were the informers. But from this case, actually, we had got uh, some stock pilfered from Glaxo in the market, and some action was taken against Glaxo at that time, and the Glaxo license was suspended, which was fought up to Supreme Court. Now, why after raid at Suresh Punwani's place, we seized too much number of products, rifampicin, betnesol, and soft gelatin capsules and everything. Now, while that raid was there, before that raid, I had maintained watch on this person for around 8 to 9 months. At that time, Gural sir and Chaudhary sir were saying that डिलीवरी में जितना टाइम लगता है उतना टाइम केस में लग रहा है, बट देन वी वर गिवन वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट इंस्ट्रक्शंस that you will raid only on the day you find spurious drugs. Do not raid when you find physician samples or stolen drugs. Raid on the day you find. So we had put on one informer in this ring who was purchasing for us, and where we were knowing the movements of Suresh Purwani, that he will start from Mulund at 2 o'clock. After taking lunch, he will come in balcony. He'll put up his shoes. Will go down, and from there he'll sit in van, a Maruti van, and Maruti van will go towards Princess Street. And Princess Street, he'll talk to some person from Princess Street. He will go to some place at Welcome Hindu Hotel. From Welcome Hindu Hotel, he will go to Dharavi. So we shadowed him totally, and ultimately we were knowing today what he will do, tomorrow what he's going to do, what stock he has got, and we started purchasing very confidentially stock from him. And then when we raided, he told us that he will cooperate, but then we don't have to take out video. He will cooperate if we give him one nip of whiskey every day and one plate of salad. And he was in our custody for 1 full month, and we raided around 7 to 8 places in Mumbai and Agra, then Hyderabad, then many other places, Raipur. So, and then we got all the drugs which were supplied by him, rifampicin, Afcopran, Glaxo, stolen material which went into garbage and was recycled by them. Here, right here, Glaxo case. What I want to mention that we maintained watch over in the hotel while we raided Mulund and all other places. Stock from this place was removed, and when we went to that place, stock was not there. So we asked, we interrogated, and we found that okay, his Suresh Punwani's son had come, and then he has removed the stock from here. Then we called one of my colleague Milind Patil, sitting in the CB Control Police Station, that Suresh Punwani's son will come, who will bring tiffin for Suresh Punwani, then you may detain him at police station. And then from Suresh Punwani's house, we went back to police station where his son was detained, and his son took us to Andheri Lokhandwala Creek, RTO testing road, and he had thrown total stock into that creek. And from that creek, in night, with searchlights of the jeeps and vehicles on, we took out the stock. And that Panchanama is reading like that: ki street lights were not there. We put up lights of the jeep, and then we took out 4 bags full and boxes full of the drugs which were taken out from that creek. Still, that smell of creek and foul smell of vitamins storage is in my mind. Right. So we detected on this. So essential skill: look for the clues, never give up. Go behind the evidence and collect it. Next slide, please. So this is a case. Ultimately, we go into the details of this case. Arsen. Arsen is a product was containing rifampicin, was manufactured by original product was being manufactured by Lupin, and then Mr. Giri and Mr. Kekature got information of some strips in Mumbai. From there, we started a case, and then we started pursuing the case. And ultimately, we knew that somebody from Mulund had supplied to the Vikhroli Cooperative Medical Store, and that Gulati was the name of the person. He absconded. We on around 14th of August, we raided Gulati's place. When we raided Gulati's place, he was not there. And then we went with the lady officers, because whenever you are raiding a place at a house, if lady is there, then they may allegate many other things. Therefore, always see that either you go with the lady officers or lady police. Right? Accused absconded, and then we seize household drugs. We created scene and we seize household drugs, that we are prosecuting that lady or something like that. So pressure was created, and uh, accused to brother of Gulati was a licensee who came to me and said, "Sir, Bhiwandi, you had given me the license, and Gulati is my brother, but we are worried you may beat him. तो आप उसको मारोगे नहीं तो हम उसको लेके आते." So pressurization and persuasion to his brother, ultimately accused came. Now, when the accused came, he came at the night in 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, it was 13th August, I suppose. So on 13th August night, he came, and then here was a place where he said that, okay, I got medicines, I got arsenic from Delhi. So we said, okay, Delhi तो ठीक है, लेकिन where is the material? तो उससे बोलता सर सब बेच दिया. किसको बेच दिया? तो ultimately he said some medical stores, and those medical stores are not having the stock. Ultimately, when we pressurized him, he said that, sir, I will show that stock to you, that is lying, that is there on the hill. And that hill is Mulund Jhoppadpatti. And he told that he will show it to me, and at around night, around 11 o'clock in the night. We thought that, okay, if we go with him, there is a risk. So we persuaded him that Banarsi and Sadhwani will go with him. We went with him to that hill area where is extreme Jhoppadpatti, dangerous area particularly. Myself and Manarse took decision there by going with him in this gullies of this place will not be good. Therefore, we told him, okay, you go and bring. We thought that in any case, we don't have any medicine. If he runs away, then we'll be losing the case. If we go with him, we may lose our life. And if he comes back, we will get the case. Now, he went there with full confidence and came up with a bag. Now, came up with a bag full of arsenic tablets. Now we are in the top of the hill, near auto rickshaw, with full bag of arsenic. How to seize this? Where to seize this? And I feel that even I took that night 12 o'clock we went and called. That time mobiles were not there. I had called Gudal sir. We called Deshpande sir. They gave certain clues. Gudal sir gave us a clue that, okay, you tell him to go to his house. Because you cannot seize on the road, tell him to go to his house. He went to his house, and we were watching his house. As soon as he went in his house, with that bag full, we seized that stock that we had maintained watch here, and he has come with the bag here. Now we seize the stock and drawn sample. So, getting information, taking decision on the spot. Deshpande sir were telling us always, you take decisions on that spot. You are the judge. You cannot be guided from here. So you take the best decision at that place. If you talk of recovery of 80 grams, so small quantity. In a white lab, we raided, some people were stealing medicines from there. One Datta Digwekar stole some prednisone and 80 grams from that place, and ultimately he had sold it to somebody in Mulund. Banarse went to that Mulund person and told at his house that Datta Digwekar has given you are dealing with Datta Digwekar. He said, only I know him. Banarse told him that Datta Digwekar has committed suicide. And then he has left some note that he has some dealing with you. So that man, Kamlesh, told him, sir, I had no dealing with him. Only he had given me 80 grams of prednisolone, and that is with me. and I can bring that. So that particular just presence of mind, which during full search we could not have found in the house, that was recovered here, and that particular thing gave us clue to detect total mis happenings, whatever happening at Wyeth, to detect that case. Now this is a great case. I always give example, is a great coordination between Gujarat FD and Maharashtra. That a case of Bhavesh Parekh, which I discussed with you, Ansar Khan Rajab Khan was selling compound to him. This Bhavesh Parekh told us that he is getting raw materials from this type of Ansar Khan Rajab Khan, crushing the tablets, estimating that, and then after estimating that, if it is 70%, he sells it to one Mascot lab at Ahmedabad, and that Mascot lab and Mangal Pharma at Palghar. These people are purchasing this type of material and they convert it into tablet and capsules. Now, when we went to Muscat lab, we found that all accused absconded. For Muscat lab, the people were there. Modi, Praveen Patel, and were there. And then they told us they manufactured it and then they gave it to one Mr. Kaushik Pandya at Ghee Kanta market. Now, once we went to that Kaushik Pandya's place, premises was locked. We instructed watchman not to open market till we come. We are from intelligence branch. Till we come tomorrow morning, don't open the market. Now that watchman really did not allow anybody to open the shop till we went in the morning there, and all the shopkeepers of Ghee Kanta market were standing out, and they created a scene where Kaushik Pandya had to surrender before us. So innovative approach in this case worked. Now, what was this case? We come into next slide. Time is short probably, so we'll be finishing fast. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is okay. This is a coordination between Hyderabad, where in Suresh Punwani's case we found out that the drugs were supplied to Satyanarayan at Hyderabad, and then when we first visited, we found nothing there, and he had left for that some pilgrimage. After around 1 year, in a trimethoprim case, which I have discussed in the first slide, we visited Hyderabad. Mr. Ishwar Reddy and other Vijay Kumar and all other colleagues were there. And then we first investigated trimethoprim case, and after that we went to Satyanarayan's place. Very confidentially, even Hyderabad team was not with us. We found that he was there after 1 year. So we alerted CB Control, Bombay. We got team from Bombay, police officers and our colleague drug inspector Dastagir Sheikh at that time. And then they came. We requested Satyanarayan Murthy sir, who was commissioner at the Andhra Pradesh. And so he said, sir, you're not left. We said, sir, we had some information, so we were waiting here. So we request you to send some officers that in last year's case, you want to do something here. So he said, oh, okay, today is Vinayak Chaturthi, nobody is there. We said, the officers are in our touch. They will come, sir, you just guide them. And all officers came. We raided that place. Spurious drugs, lot of spurious drugs were found. And there, on that day, Satyanarayan was arrested. Vijay Kumar drew samples. One very strange thing happened. There was huge stock of physician samples. And we interrogated. When I asked him how much percent is content, he said, sir, it is 100% physician sample, best quality. When I created pressure, he said, sir, 75%. Then he came to 50%. Then he said, sir, this drug does not contain anything. So spurious physician samples were being sold by that man. Why? Because quack doctors and other physicians are purchasing physician samples, telling their patients that this is good quality medicine, and physician samples are being sold in this type of grey market. They don't require any bill or nothing, and nobody from us in general draws sample of physician sample to be tested. Right. So this is a great thing which was seen there. Accused was arrested and great prosecution was conducted. He was convicted for 1 year. Next year. Next slide, please. Arson case, we got some very different issues. That on 14th, when we seized the stock at 13th, when we seized the stock at night. 14th, we came to office. We sent samples and everything discussed. 15th August, there was flag hosting. And that accused was called in the office, and ultimately we knew that he has brought it from Delhi. And then we want to go to Delhi. Deshpande sir went to commissioner. Mr. Sanjay Narayan was commissioner, and he told him, sir, our team want to go to Delhi. Around 6 to 8 people will be going, and we need permission to go by flight. At that time, there was no number of flights were very less, and then we needed permission from the commissioner to go by the flight. Right, but then commissioner said, no, you go by train. Now, Deshpande sir came in IB office, and then we sat all together. Deshpande sir asked us that one informer is going who knows Manmohan Sharma at Delhi, and he knows his place also. Gulati knows Manmohan Sharma, but he will not be knowing his place. Then police officers, then our 2 officers, and then police havaldars, and 6 to 8 persons will be going. And then if the 8 people leave today and they reach Delhi tomorrow, then somebody will alert Manmohan Sharma and he will not be found in Delhi. Therefore, we have to maintain confidentiality. Nobody will say that when we are going, where we are going, or we are going to Delhi or not. We were telling him, okay, case is over, abhi kya karne ka, kuch nahi. Ultimately, we created a scene that case investigation is over, nothing is being done. Confidentially, Mr. Deshpande gave us instructions, or we convinced him that, sir, allow us to go by plane. On his risk, he allowed us to go by plane. And the task was assigned to me that, okay, bring tickets for all of these persons. Now, 6 to 8 tickets. And at that time, tickets were very costly. And for today and tomorrow, again, very costly. And Air India had one flight from Bombay at 9 o'clock. And I was given responsibility of getting tickets. And Giri and Kekatpure went to police station to lodge FIR, then take custody of Gulati from there. And then one person went to get one informer from Mulund who will be showing us the place. And then from court, remand is to be taken, and then everybody has to reach to airport at 7 p.m. From there, they will be going. Now, this scene was very easy to say, but very difficult, because 15th August we took this decision, and 16th morning, everybody went there. Right. So, from where to get tickets? Money was not there. So I went to Commissioner's PA and asked him, who is Commissioner's travel agent? So Globe Travels or Gupta Travels was there. I called Gupta Travels that I'm talking from intelligence branch of FDA. I need tickets for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 officers' names and everything. At that time, that booklet tickets were there, and I got bunch of tickets with bill of around 32 or 64,000 or something to be paid to him. And I told him, okay, send bill to commissioner, we'll settle. So at least 15-20 दिन का उधारी तो commissioner को मिल जाता. Right, the bills will come, and then we'll see that time what happens. And as soon as I went to airport, myself, Mr. Banarse and Mr. Sadunke was our assistant commissioner. Mr. Deshpande was our control tower at that time. Deshpande sir used to live just near FDA office, and his landline phone was our control tower. Everybody from police, Kekatpure, myself, Giri, everybody was coordinating with Deshpande sir. Now, to our utter surprise, we reached airport. Nobody reached airport at 7 p.m. And myself, Banarse and Sadunke sir were there. And we had tickets of around 64,000 in hand, and then nobody was there. No, and that airport, actually, that terminal was new, and only Air India flights were allowed from there. Now, just near Taj Hotel now, that terminal was there, recently closed. That was new at that time. Now, the flight was at 9. Everybody came to see off the people, and then everybody left. Only 3 persons were there in that full airport, myself, Banarse, and Mr. Sadunke. Now the airport manager came, why you are studying? He said that we have 8 tickets and then we are from intelligence branch and we have detected one case. Our team want to travel to Delhi and they will come anytime and they have to board this flight. He said that boarding time is over and then flight cannot wait. It is last flight to Delhi. You cannot really, I cannot really stop this flight. You'll have to mm, do something. Well, I said that, okay, we have two issues. One is these tickets. Another is that Manmohan Sharma is to be arrested at Delhi. And if they don't leave by this flight, then Manmohan Sharma will run away because already we have got custody remand and everything now. So somebody will give him clue. He was not understanding and then he was trying to mm, give clearance to the flight. But I had ultimately enrolled him with all. Somehow God gave me that passion and then force to enroll that I am intelligence branch officer. You have to help us out. Now he said that what are two problems? So another problem is that your team can travel more in the morning, and he took all my tickets and wrote allowed by tomorrow morning flight. I said tomorrow morning will not serve my purpose. You allow now. By that time, Kekatpure and Giri came, and with them one another person came, our informer. So these four persons went into the flight. But the police was not there, Gulati was not there. We were afraid that how to catch Manmohan Sharma at Delhi. So we were having issues. Then flight, he said, okay, these four persons can travel tomorrow morning. I told him wait for 5 minutes. He said that sir, this is international flight, last flight to Delhi. So koi VIP baithe honge, there will be some scene, and all the flights will be delayed after this. And then somehow he was convinced and he told me to talk to air traffic control. I talked to air traffic control. He gave me more 5 minutes. And during those 5 minutes, our that police van came with siren and everything. And then they came. But by that time, flight was, though doors were not closed, flight was closed. They came and they said, "Arre, hum purane airport pe chale gaye the," and this and that. And then they came. They came. Then that computer was not working. Ultimately, that airport officer prepared manual boarding passes, and then talked to pilot, and then pilot allowed them. And then when flight went, we were staying at, I was staying at Ulhasnagar and Manarse was staying at Dombivli. We went to our house. As soon as we reached our house, next slide please, we found that telephone call from Kekatpure, Manmohan Sharma arrested. Now, in today's scene also, if you tell me flights are uh, closed 25 minutes before departure time, check-in closes 45 minutes before, a flight being delayed beyond its departure time for 10 minutes only because we had passion, we could convince, we had power, we had just caught airport control officer in that way. So that day we were worried also that we were told not to go by flight. Then also we were going by flight. We were traveling by flight, and if you don't get, we will have issues. But then we did everything to get. And in that year, CR Deshpande sir gave us. Deshpande sir went to commissioner next day morning at 10 o'clock and said, "Sir, Manmohan Sharma arrested." Commissioner saw watch and he felt that, okay, Rajdhani has yet not reached Delhi and your person have arrested Manmohan Sharma. So ultimately you went by plane. So Deshpande sir said, yes, we had no option, sir. So there he congratulated Deshpande sir, and from there on, he gave us rewards. Commissioner gave us rewards, which today we don't have time to say, we don't have time to disclose. But then Sanjay Narayan sir gave rewards of great appreciation. When our team recommended only token reward of 300 rupees, he said 2000 rupees. And then while he was transferred, he personally saw that he created and felicitated the team on that day before he left. So I hope time is up and we should keep some time for our um, question and answers. So further slides, I'll just show it to you. We can discuss it some other day. Next slide, please. So ability to follow clues, I'll interrogate. Next slide. Patience. Next. This here I have given example. This can be discussed anytime. Next slide, please. So these are the compounds. Here I would like to mention that this man was dealing in the drugs, which he told me that, sir, this crushed tablet powder, this is erythromycin steroid, this is erythromycin steroid, and I sell it to uh, the companies like Mascot and Mangal, who convert it into tablets and capsules. And when we raided Mascot laboratories at Ahmedabad and we produced accused before the court gave us court asked why you arrested them. I told him, sir, in a capsule you will find earlier capsule shells, crushed capsule and filled up into this. And then the court asked me, what do you want? I want, sir, transit remand. He said, how many days? I said 3 days. He said, you take 7 days transit remand and see that every capsule is taken out from the market of Gujarat, and then you take him to Mumbai, investigate it properly, and under Drug Act, penalties are very less. They should be tried as per IPC, and for trials of each, they should be tried for the murder charges. That has been recorded on my remand application of these accused. Next slide, please. This is very important. Accused were arrested in Orai, a case particularly related to Ayurvedic drug which containing sildenafil citrate by Jeevan Jyoti Laboratories at Orai. Mr. Banarsi and his team went there. I was Assistant Commissioner Intelligence Branch. They arrested a person there, and who has a huge political background, and then the person was put in lockup. He created a scene. Around 7 o'clock when the team went for the lunch, the accused reported chest pain and he was admitted to civil hospital. Was sent for admission to Medical College Hospital at Jhansi. Now jurisdiction changed. There is no transit remand. There is no remand application. Accused is arrested. And then all the press is behind our officers. Politicians are supporting that man. And then when they produced application before CJM Orai refused to give transit remand because accused was not present before. They went to Jhansi next day to ask for transit remand at Jhansi. Then Jhansi court says that no, offence is committed at Orai. I cannot give you remand. Now, person is arrested, scenes are created there, and then the people are being, the team was being told that they will proceed against you for illegal detention. Then from here, Mumbai, we contacted collector and SP at Orai, and then we briefed them, and then they helped. And after they helped, then CJM, we met because they called the district judge, and ultimately CJM Orai next day gave bail. But they took objection that you are not produced any application. Why 3 days? Then at that time, one thing came in hand that while accused were produced, accused was not produced before Orai, application was given and it was rejected. So that rejected application gave chance that we have not detained him. We had informed the judge, and then that judge gave the transit remand. So you have to remain cool and see that what options are available, how you can get all the necessary orders from the courts, and then you are also safe at that particular place where even other type of dangers are there. So Orai is not that safe place for a particular person going from Maharashtra and landing in that particular situation where the antisocial elements are dealing with spurious drugs. Next slide, please. So these are the this is a slide where what you should be doing. You should be having captive vigilance. You are a field force, eyes and ears of the administration. This is true for even manufacturers, that they should create nose for the spurious drugs. You should find out how you can detect these type of cases. You engage with the regulators, have dialogue with other regulators, that if they get any case related to Drug Act, they should communicate with you. There should be some other trade associations, intelligence sharing should be with you. Even manufacturers should have quality supply chain, QA, they should be alert. Their management should be creating random checks in the field. Their MRs should be trained to have find if their sales are suffering, they should look into this, that how to control this one. Next, please. So, as a regulator or as a manufacturer, you should watch observable drop in the sale in a particular geography or a particular brand, dealers without license, undercutting supplies, institutional supply, attempts to prepare any cylinder mold or stamps or brands, print copy of packaging material, direct sale to doctors. So all these things, if you watch, you will get good cases. Next one, please. So this is your supply chain. Totally, it should be in communication with the regulators. You should have people here. Anything wrong happening there should be reported to you. If you are a manufacturer, your field force and all other stakeholders should be reporting it to you, and you should be reporting it to the regulator. So regulator with manufacturer and all other stakeholders, if are alert and communicate seamlessly, then you can really control this menace. Next slide, please. These are the brand metrics, which brands are prone for copying, and what is the risk. So this is the brand metrics I've created. We don't have time to explain it today. We can keep it for the next time. Next slide, please. So pricing power, high volume brands, high recall brands. Pricing power means costly. This time remdesivir and amphotericin, etc. So pricing power, anything injection just can be labeled for this. Very high volume, iodex and other type of things, crocin, combiflam. These type of brands are vulnerable here. High recall at prescription level. We had seen cases related to eltroxin, thyronorm, or something like that. The prescriptions are there, but then continuous prescriptions, continuous supply. Undifferential physical attributes, similar type of tablet, white tablets, bulk pill, bulk packing, etc. High recall with the consumer. Consumer feeling that okay, this is good, so they go and purchase from the market. So all these brands all these drugs can be copied and counterfeited. So be alert on all these. Next. So with this, I can conclude the skill discussed so far, coupled with attitude and above all commitment to the job. You should be committed. I want to do it, and will certainly curb menace of spurious drugs. And next slide, please. If you want to be a winner, you have to be willing to give it your all. So put up everything with you, attitude, aptitude, all your patience, skills, to see that you protect patients from the spurious drug. So from raw material, packaging material, to the patient taking medicine, you should be alert, to create safe medicines for your patients. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a very elaborated, in detailed explanation on different cases, and we really cherish the kind of experiences that you have had in your course of working experience, and the mentorship of Deshpande sir and Goodal sir, how the skills have enhanced in your course of action are really helpful for the inspector. And with that, we'll open the floor for the question and answer. And I request all the participants to post your questions in the Q&A tab for easy reference for us to take up those questions. And I could see a few of the questions in Q&A, sir. So let me take one by one. Mr. Girish Waghela is coming up with the question that under what power and provision and procedure can an investigator can extract information stored from electronic device in course of voluntary agreed to provide device?
So direct all the provisions which are applicable to physical devices, physical material available, diaries and everything. So you can seize the electronic device also. You have got that power under section 22. So all the devices can be seized, whatever was available there.
And there is another question from Mr. Jairam. That there is no provision of sampling API from formulation manufacturing units. So how to assess the quality of suspected APIs used by the manufacturer in the option of that provision under the Act, which could be challenged? Sadhwani sir, are you with us? It seems there is some technical issue at his end. Deshpande sir, would you like to answer this question?
Or
The
no,
understanding.
the whatever the sampling powers are there, it includes power to draw sample of API.
Right. So the understanding of Mr. Jairam seems to be in the other way, that he is understanding that we don't have any provision for sampling APIs from a manufacturing formulation unit. But Deshpande, as per Deshpande sir,
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's this, the term used in the powers and forms, etc., is drug. Drug includes API, drug includes component, drug includes medical devices. So powers are all included.
oh, sir. And I request all the participants to use the Q&A tab for the questions. Sir, another question from Monali, that how do we inspect online medicine selling? Is it good to purchase medicines online, as they are giving huge discounts? We are in a doubt whether they'll be spurious or not.
The online pharmacy has come here to stay. We will have to find out ways and means. The the purchaser and the constant vigil on the suppliers will help. Now, Mr. Sadhwani is back.
Yes, sir. I know.
Welcome back, sir. So there's some discussion on the online pharmacies, and the consumers are very much concerned whether the products that they are getting at a huge discounts are of a good quality or of a spurious, and how do
More,
they
more than consumer regulators are
regulate?
concerned. Consumers are happy with the discount, and again, this is my, of course, my personal view. The online pharmacy is deviating from the norms provided under Rule 65. That's very clear with the number of cases done. But it is not yet established that any drug supplied by online pharmacy is found spurious. At least the data doesn't support these allegations or the apprehension. This is my view, of course. Mr. Sadhwani he is the boss today.
So online pharmacies are okay, good, but then the mechanism for fighting with counterfeits doesn't exist there, right? And if I'm sometimes concerned that if they are supplied from the nearby geographies, that will be good. But if a Mumbai patient getting 4 strips from Assam or from Agra, and if they are spurious, that is creating some.
And perhaps the regulators needs to build up their skills to investigate the cases related to online pharmacies and all.
Maharashtra and Karnataka are doing to some extent, and Maharashtra officers have recently placed bogus orders, and at 13 places MTP kits were purchased from the online pharmacy. So it's not that they are not monitored, but considering the scope, you are right that skills will have to be developed by the officers.
It seems the participants are fully satisfied with the presentation, and there are no further questions I could see either in the chat box or Q&A. Oh, sir, I just got a question from Mr. Das.
There is connectivity issue.
Yes, sir. I think there was some issue at your end,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
bandwidth issue. Sir, another question from Mr. Das, that is there any precedent judgment where administration of a drug or transfusion of a blood considered as a distribution?
I'm not getting question. Can you clarify?
So, is there any precedent judgment where administration of a drug or transfusion of a blood is considered as a distribution?
I don't know. Sir may be knowing it.
No, there is a Gujarat High Court judgment wherein it is said that blood is a drug and blood transfusion is considered as a manufacturing. Means collection of blood, storage, administration of blood, these are all considered as manufacturing activity. So it can be also considered, that judgment can be read to help you in defending any argument if at all it is raised in the court.
Perhaps the question seems to be like whether the drug administration by an RMPO to the patient or by transfusion of a blood to the patient or some person, can it be considered as a distribution? This is what the question I think Mr. Das would like to get a clarification.
That would be part of blood bank.
So I could see a comment from Jagshetty sir that there is an issue in drawing sample from CDSO officers and sending them for the testing to CDL. I could not clearly get what exactly Jagshetty sir is meant. Sir, would you like to, get onto the screen? Can we, let me just allow Jagshetty sir to be on stage. Jagshetty sir, now you have promoted as a panelist and you can just offer your comments or suggestions.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar. It was an excellent presentation by Advani sir.
Great. Thank you, sir.
I remember under Deshpande sahab who had come, as you told in the beginning, that we were there whole night. I remember Kekatpure, Giri and Biyani. That time they were there. Quite a good this one. Anyhow, coming back to my question, there is a problem. I feel now there is a lot of inspectorate has been increased under CDSCO. Not telling any negativity this one. Let them increase any number of inspectors. There is no problem. I believe somebody has to clarify from CDSO. I believe these CDSO officers, wherever they are drawing the sample, they are sending to CDL Calcutta. The problem is section 25(4). It says unless tested at CDL. But our officers or somebody is not able to clarify the Form 2 report and Form 13 report. There is a problem recently in 2019, there is one case has happened at Mark Laboratories or something. They are told because it is already tested, director is also notified as a government list. That is a different issue. Whether it is notified or not, different issue. Either we have to try, some officers have to try for change in the Ram Shankar Misra case. We have to go detail. This is about 40 years back case is there that we was taking. Either we have to convince the court properly. There is a difference between Form 1, 2 and Form 13 and 17. So otherwise the industry or somebody, the chance is lost, retesting chance is lost. Why we should give like otherwise CDSO officers should be allowed to notify to send the samples to the respective state where they are working, that state drug testing laboratory. Then the CDL can go appeal. That's what my concern. Officers have to think over further. Because there is no bar, as far as Misra case is concerned, there is no bar to inspector to send to CDL directly.
Deshpande sir can correct me. My thinking is that a drug inspector drawing sample and sending it to under Form 17, he is allowed to send it to only government analyst. Right. The government analyst can be at CDL or the State Drug Control Laboratory. So the report should come in Form 13 itself. And while a report given from any laboratory by a government analyst, that should be considered as a government analyst report in Form 13, and then appeal chance should be available to him through court under Form 2 or whatever.
Sadhwani sir, unfortunately, in Mark
Only
laboratory,
that
it has not
word,
happened.
unless sample is tested in the CDL already, that
Yes.
word is creating issue. So Deshpande sir can put light on this.
No. This Himachal Pradesh High Court judgment in one case has given adverse report that needs to be agitated further, because it's not a report in Form 13. It's a report in Form 13. There's a difference between the director's report and different of government analyst, whether he is in CDL or whether he is in any other report. So it's a question of argument now. Proper argument, and it's not necessary that all other high courts will agree to that. But if any other high court agrees, that point will have to be agitated to Supreme Court. There is no other way, because one high court has already given ruling which is prejudicial to the working of the officers.
Sir, in that case, the manufacturer has lost the plea under Section 25(3). So,
no, that is what the High Court has said. But actually, 25(3), 25(4) read together, the report was of government analyst. The government analyst is challengeable. That report is challengeable. The report was not received from a director, which cannot be challenged. That is under Section 25(4). It should have gone through court. 25(4) is talking about court, and drug inspector also can send report directly to CDL. That's the Allahabad High Court judgment. But the facts are entirely different. It is from the judgment also, it is not clear whether the report was in Form 13 or Form 2. So that judgment and this Himachal Pradesh High Court will have to be argued properly, very vehemently and strongly. Then only this law will be correct.
Another point of serious concern that the entire regulatory system has to take care of, and somebody has to. And I think we have already exceeded the time limit, and of course, Mr. Bilal has some issue in regards to this similar case, and so he is asking what to be done in that case. Probably Bilalji, we can have a separate discussion with Deshpande sir and all the senior officers regarding this specific case that we are dealing with. Sir, with that, I'll call off the session, and now may I request Deshpande sir for the concluding remarks.
No, it was excellent presentation. Not much comments or confusions is necessary, but I am sure these personal experiences, how intelligence branch work, how from a small clue we could reach the factory, or the drugs inspectors who are stopping at drawing of sample and issuing notices to the original manufacturer should learn a lesson out of this presentation. And I'm sure it will have a great value addition to the officers' hearing and those who will be viewing this YouTube presentation subsequently. Thank you, Mr. Sadhwan.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your blessings, Deshpande sir and Jagdish sir. Great.
Thank you so much, sir, and it's really our pleasure to bring together the senior officers on a platform all together for the benefit of our industry, and we really enjoyed the detailed insights that Sadhwaniji has given in terms of various cases that he has run the investigation with the kind mentorship of all senior officers like Deshpande sir, Jagshetty ji, and Guralji, and these are all learning lessons for the young officers like us. And I believe all the participants have thoroughly enjoyed, and they are very keen to hear more and more such kind of experiences in the coming sessions. We really take this opportunity to extend our sincere thanks to Sadhwaniji once again for your patient, detailed explanation for the participants, and our sincere thanks to Deshpande sir and Jagshetty ji and all the participants for the patient hearing and staying with us for almost 2 hours. It really shows how keen the participants to hear and learn more things from the senior officers. With that, I call off the session, and I once again thanks everyone, and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.